Give me two claps and a Ric Flair woo. Woo! Welcome to math class. I'm sure you guys are ready to learn today on Monday, week 2 of being at home. Quick reminder, tomorrow at noon, high noon tomorrow, Mr. Hardenstein is going to try to be live on YouTube. I don't know what that means. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to discover it together. Today we're starting with the entrance task. Just 2 problems for you to solve and graph. Remember, we're focusing on that you can do these problems so that you're prepared for 8th grade math. And we'll kind of go from there. So pause it, try these 2 problems. I'll go over the answers and we're going to go from there. Alright, hopefully you tried it. Hopefully it shouldn't have been too bad too. You'll notice that as we go through each one of these answers kind of step by step here, a couple things to keep in mind. The first one, we combine like terms, 7W and negative 9W. That's a great battle, and negatives win by 2, so you get negative 2W minus 8 is less than 26. Now I'll start my algebra by getting rid of the minus 8, adding 8 both sides. Trying to get W alone here. Negative 2 times W is less than 34, so we divide both sides by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Remember, if we divide by a negative, Gary the Gator's got to flip around. That's why it's in red here. So I reverse the inequality. The less than becomes a greater than. My answer is W is greater than negative 17. So less chalk here, so I make an open circle at negative 17, and my answer W is greater, so I put my arrow to all the larger numbers. Here for number 2, we start by doing the distributive property, so I multiplied the 3 times the 2x and the 3 times the negative 8, and I get 6x minus 24 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Add 24 both sides. Get 6x is greater than or equal to 18. Divide by 6. X is greater than or equal to 3. Filled in circle, arrow to the right. Alright, again, tomorrow, I'm hoping that when I go live on YouTube, I don't know how it works, but I'm thinking that hopefully you guys can comment as I'm talking, so that if you have some questions on something, you might be able to type it in and I can answer them. If not, I'll just you can just say, hi, how's it going? Ask me other questions and I can talk to you guys. Hopefully at least be a little bit fun, if nothing else. So let's move on back to the packet to go over the answers from page 7 that you should have tried from Friday. I decided not to do all of them out. I did the first 3. So I'll let you take a look at those, and then I figured I would talk through as I did the other 3 problems from the homework so that you were able to hopefully learn from some of that too. 1 and 2 I think are very straightforward. So you can see the algebra on the graphs. Hopefully yours look similar. Number 3, I wanted to make a point here. I've seen in the past when people do problems like this where they end up reversing the inequality just because they have a negative number over here or a negative answer. Remember, you don't reverse the inequality if you get a negative number. It's only if you decide to multiply or divide by a negative to manipulate the equation trying to get x alone. So our algebra steps were adding 6. That doesn't make the inequality reverse. Dividing by positive 7. That doesn't make the inequality reverse. Therefore, we keep the less than or equal to all the way through. Alright, so let's move on. We'll do the last 3 problems together here real quick. So here I have the x on this side. I need to get x alone, so I got to get rid of the positive 8. Well, I can get that to go away to 0 by just subtracting 8 both sides. Be careful with your signs. I get negative 30 is greater than, and don't forget to bring down this minus 3x. We think of as now a negative 3x. And now to get rid of this negative 3 times x, the opposite of multiplying by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So I divide by negative 3 both sides. That's one of those steps. When I divide by a negative, I have to first reverse the inequality. So notice how first thing so I didn't forget, I made that greater than into a less than. Over here, negative divided by a negative is a positive. Here I'm left with an x, so my answer is 10 is less than x. If I wanted to, I could think of it as x is greater than 10. Just make sure that it's Gary's chomping the x here, so he's chomping the x there. So I do my graph. I'm going to count by tens. And this is going to be less chalk, so it's an open circle. I don't want to include 10 as my answer. I just want everything. My answer is getting chomped by Gary, so my answer is larger. I just want all the numbers that are larger than 10. So that's my graph for that one. Moving on to the bottom. 2 problems, 5 and 6 there. Here, I need to combine like terms first, which I do. I combine and I get negative 3x minus 9 is less than 24. I add 9 to both sides. I get negative 3x is less than 33. Divide both sides by negative 3. Dividing by a negative, I'm going to switch that around. And I get x is greater than negative 11. So I'm going to count by 11s on my number line. Open circle at negative 11. And x is larger than that, so my answers are going to be the numbers larger than negative 11. Okay, and then finally here, I'm going to start by simplifying. Remember, we work smarter, not harder. Make the equation as easy as possible. So if it's an inequality, I'll make the inequality as easy as possible before I start doing my algebra. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Now I'm ready to do my algebra to get x alone. Add 15 both sides. 10x is greater than or equal to 60. Divide by 10. And x is greater than or equal to 6. No flipping anywhere on that one. But this one is greater than or equal to. So I have to have a filled in answer or filled in circle at 6 because I want to include that as my answer. So it's anything 6 or larger is my answer in that case. So there is your answer to the last problem on page 7. So instead of getting into word problems, what I thought is I'd give you just one more day to practice this. So what you'll need to do is on a separate sheet of paper, loose leaf or something like that, any scrap piece of paper, you could do it on. I would probably, if you have a regular piece of paper, probably do that and keep it with this so you can keep everything together for when we get back to school, hopefully sooner than later. So here's the 4 problems for you to try tonight. So go ahead and pause the video. You copy these down. What I'll probably do is take a snapshot of it and post that too. So you guys, potentially if you wanted to print it, you could print it too. But no need to print it. You can just copy these 4 problems down. Easy enough. Make sure you solve and graph them on a number line, and be careful. I think a couple of them you're going to have to reverse the inequality. All right, guys. You guys have a good rest of the day, and then remember to check into the Ted Hardenstein YouTube channel tomorrow at noon as I go live. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.